Okay, in this next little module, we're going to imagine that we have some real data, and we're going to determine, one, whether or not genes are linked, and then find out what the genetic distance between those is. Now, I'm not going to actually use some phenotypes. I'm just going to indicate numbers and letters here. So let's imagine you have an individual that's heterozygous for alleles at two different loci, and we'll call them A and B. Okay. And what I'm done here is, well, this would give you the appearance that these things are unlinked, but I'm going to say, well, you don't actually know, okay? We just know that this individual is heterozygous. We don't know what the alleles were that were inherited from the parents. This individual, so this little dot can kind of represent, well, it could be linked or it might not be linked. Okay, and we're going to do a test cross with an individual that is little a, and then the same type of thing, little b, okay. Well, of course, because it's a test cross, this individual will transmit only little a, little b gametes, and there's 4 types of gametes that this individual here can produce, okay? So we'll just actually show sort of the 4 possible genotypes of the F1 here, using that little circle sort of dot representation, okay? And so little a, little b all the time from that mom or dad, okay? And then different possible genotypes from this individual, okay? This individual could pass off, of course, little a, little b, or big A, big B, okay? Or, okay, what, you know, we don't know if it's a result of recombination or not, little a, big B, and then big A, little b, okay? So now let's imagine you have some real data to speak to that, and so we actually do this, and because we can reveal the phenotypes by crossing to the homozygous recessive line, we find that this individual comes out, you get 17 times, this individual you observe 13 times, this individual you observe 281 times, and this individual you observe 289 times. Okay, linked or unlinked? Well, what would we expect if they were completely unlinked? If A is transmitted independent of B? Well, we would not see these numbers. It would be something like 1 to 1 to 1 to 1 to 1, and that's clearly not the case. There's a prevalent class, and then there's a rarer class. Now, what's the prevalent class? Well, the prevalent class is this one here and this one here, okay? And we call those parentals, and that's not because they came from this particular parent in this, because the parents of this individual have this one, and that represents sort of a linkage relationship, and we have a name for that. We can actually get rid of these dots now because we know that these are linked. We have a name for that, and in this particular case, we would say that this individual has the trans or repulsion conformation because the recessive mutant alleles are, well, we need to switch this around as a matter of fact. The recessive mutant alleles are actually on opposite chromosomes. Okay, there's 2 chromosomes like that. Okay, so that's truly the way that this individual has their chromosomes. Now, what's their genetic distance between these? Okay, well, the recombinant class we can add up, and this adds up to 30. Okay, and the what we call the parental class, it turns out this adds up to 570. Okay, so what's the sum total? It turns out there are 600 total individuals in this, and 30 of them arise through crossing over. Okay, well, what the centimorgans then is going to be equal to, okay, well, it's going to be not quite exactly equal to, but the frequency of recombination, we call it frequency of recombination, is equal to 30 divided by 600, okay, which in this particular case is 0.05, okay, and centimorgans is basically 100 times that, okay, because centimorgans is basically the percent recombination. So this would be equal to 5% recombination, okay, which then we would say is equal to 5 centimorgans. Okay, So the point here is that from genetic data, we can determine linkage relationships, we can determine what the parentals versus the potential recombinants are, and we can determine the genetic distance between the two loci, and in this particular case it's 5 centimorphins.